All right, we are live on Dodgers Digest. This is Mike Nelson with you talking about, of course, the Dodgers Game 1 win over the Milwaukee Brewers. A big win, to say the least, for the Dodgers. Somehow finding a way to close it out after that crazy ninth inning out there in Milwaukee. But the Dodgers, really, got a big win. We talked about it today, this afternoon. Talking about how the Dodgers, getting a road win would be absolutely, important. That's exactly what they did tonight. Replicating what they did last series, right? Last series, getting that, big wins, of course, against the Phillies on the road. And that's kind of what's happening right here. Getting the Game 1 victory. If they can get another win tomorrow, they'll be basically doing the same thing they did last round, getting 2 wins on the road and really putting themselves in a huge, in a great position to go to the World Series, right? The Dodgers are 3 wins away from going to the World Series, going to back-to-back World Series for the first time since 2018, right? That's the last time the Dodgers were able to win back-to-back pennants. Unfortunately, lost the World Series in both of those years, but this is a big opportunity for them to, really make a big difference and, win again tomorrow and go back to the World Series, take a 2-0 lead. But today, it was all about Blake Snell. Blake Snell had a historic performance. It was honestly incredible to watch Blake Snell tonight. 8 innings, only gave up 1 hit. The Milwaukee Brewers didn't have a runner in a scoring position while Blake Snell was on the mound, which is pretty incredible. Didn't get a runner, to second base until the 9th inning, right, when everything kind of unraveled for the Dodgers. Had to use a couple pitchers there to get the job done. But no surprise, really. That's kind of what we've seen, unfortunately, for the Dodgers in this playoffs. It's been every win seems to be very difficult, right? It seems like it's been a lot to they've had a lot of work has to be done for the Dodgers to get these wins, right? It seems like that's what's been happening throughout the playoff run. Ray is saying, what a heart attack game. Sasaki looked nervous. Snell could have gone 9 innings. He looked good. Yeah, I agree with you, Ray. I think Snell could have easily gone 9 innings. I disagree with Dave Roberts' decision taking Snell out. They even asked Blake Snell about that after the game, and he said it wasn't his decision to come out, right? It was basically Dave Roberts telling him you're only going to pitch 8, and that's it, right? So Dave Roberts, luckily that decision doesn't cost the Dodgers the game, right? Luckily it doesn't cost them the game, but it could have, right? It could have easily cost them tonight's game because the Brewers had the bases loaded with 2 outs in the 9th inning, right? And it had second and third with 1 out, right, when it was 2-0. And, of course, they got the sacrifice fly to get the first run, their only run. And then they loaded the bases, and the Brewers were unable to get the job done, right? Striking out. Blake Trinan coming in and getting that last out, which was huge. But, I think the Dodgers really, once again, I think the pitching, the starting pitching has been, out of this world. They have the best starting pitching out of all the Major League Baseball teams that are currently playing, and that's why the Dodgers are where they're at right now, because of the starting pitching, right? The starting pitching that was not healthy throughout the season, but has found a way to, despite everything, somehow get healthy and be ready to go, right? I think that's what's been really awesome to see, right? I think that it's been super awesome to see the starting pitching, get, where it's at right now. And I think that's what's really awesome, right? I think the Dodgers having the pitching is what changed everything. And it's making the Dodgers, clearly the World Series favorites, right? They are clearly World Series favorites. There's no doubt about it because of the starting pitching. Lions saying should have left Roki in there. Dodgers were lucky the guy didn't take a hit by pitch. Yeah, that's true. That same batter, as we know, on the pitch before, clearly that ball could have hit him, and that would have tied the game up, right? And we'd be currently in extra innings right now. So, I mean, the Dodgers have had luck for sure in this playoff run already, picking up a lot of wins here when you thought they weren't going to win. They've won 6 games now. They've gone 6-1 in these playoff games. Only lost 1 game so far. And yeah, of course, there's been a lot of games where you think, they're not going to win. Somehow they find a way to win. Still got to win 7 more though. They've gotten 6. They still got to win 7 more games to be world champions, right? And the way it's going, I think the Brewers. I think this is definitely a reality check for them. I think this is a big reality check. I think the Brewers, in some ways, have been overrated the whole season. And it's a reality check, right? I really think this is a reality check that, I don't know if they're really at the same level as the Dodgers, really, because the Dodgers, didn't have their best offensively, and the Brewers really didn't have much either, right? I mean, the Brewers couldn't even get a runner to second base. I mean, that's how bad their offense was. So, and it probably is, right? Ray's also saying Tryon looked terrible, walks his first batter. Yeah, Blake Tryon has really struggled, as we know. The Dodgers really don't have a bullpen, right now, right? It's basically Roki Sasaki and Emmett Sheehan holding it down. And you just wonder how long that's going to last, right? I mean, Sasaki, I think I talked about it today. I was surprised to see Sasaki even be out there tonight, right? Because, he had just pitched a lot on Thursday. 3 stress innings, and then they rolled them out again today. So, and Sasaki didn't really have it tonight. So, that's something to keep an eye on. I think Sasaki was rolled out. Probably wasn't a good idea to have him pitch tonight because he really was not his usual self. And yeah, I think he was tired, right? Tired after the 3 innings that he had to pitch just a few days ago. We also got Ray saying we should have scored with more runs with the bases loaded. Only got 1 run, of course. Talking about the top of the 9th, Mookie Betts getting the walk. But yeah, could have got more runs there. Unfortunately, not able to get that. But I mean, that was a winning run. That second run, that Mookie Betts walk. Sean is saying, I still don't get why Roberts doesn't talk to Snell first and ask him if he could finish the game. He would have did it. Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. I think it was clear that Snell, even after the game, was saying Dave Roberts, kind of decided that for him. And yeah, I think Blake Snell felt good. I think he would have stayed in the game if he had to. And yeah, Dave Roberts pulled him out. I think a bit too early, an inning too early, right? Should have left him in for the 9th and let him try to close out the game and get the complete game. I think it would have been the right move, especially the way the bullpen is currently for the Dodgers, and Sasaki cannot be used every night. He's already getting tired, the young pitcher. It's not something he's used to. And, that's going to be the question now. Sasaki, I think, is unavailable tomorrow night. I don't think we're going to see him tomorrow. And I guess we'll probably see Emmett Sheehan. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big question mark. We also got lines saying Teoscar Hernandez bad base running, talking about, of course, that play when getting out at home. Sean, poor Snell, bet was having flashbacks when he shut us down versus the Rays, and Sudi came out, he won the game. Yeah, probably what Snell was thinking, oh my God, we're going to find a way to blow this game. Ray's also saying if Hernandez should have scored from third, no excuse. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that was a tough play. At the end, it doesn't mean anything, right? At the end of the day, that play meant nothing because the Dodgers ended up winning 2-1. But yeah, looking back, definitely was frustrating, that play. But really, I think what it came down to was the pitching tonight. I think the pitching was beyond good. It was great. It was excellent. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to win championships. That's what's going to get the Dodgers over the top. Having extraordinary pitching. Starting pitching has been great. Blake Snell had a historic performance, a legendary performance to say the least tonight in Wisconsin. We also got lines saying Dodgers need to score more runs. Change the lineup back to Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, then Teoscar. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, line. I think I like having Freeman bat third. Freddie getting the home run tonight, huge. Freddie looked pretty good, right? He got the double as well. So yeah, I think Freddie Freeman had a pretty solid night to say the least. Looking at the stats today, yeah, going 2 for 5, right? And yeah, I think Freddie had a really solid day for the Dodgers. And Ohtani getting walked a couple times intentionally, going 0 for 2. Ohtani's still not to his usual self, unfortunately. And of course, walking, I think, doesn't really help his confidence, getting intentionally walked. But I think the Brewers are going to be doing that a lot. I think they're not going to want to pitch to Ohtani. That's probably going to be what they're going to try to do to combat Shohei. We got also, I think that's what they're going to probably be doing for sure. But what do everybody think about the Dodgers getting that Game 1 victory? If you're seeing this for the first time, make sure to subscribe. We're Dodgers Digest, myself and Brad J. We're bringing everyday Dodger content. This morning with Brad. This afternoon I did my video. And tomorrow morning Brad will be with you guys talking about this game tonight. The next couple days Brad's going to be breaking down tomorrow's game as well, Game 2. So, we got a lot to talk about in the next few weeks. The Dodgers are closer than ever to the World Series, 3 wins away from winning the pennant. And I think, tomorrow is a big game for the Brewers, I think. Huge game for Milwaukee, right? I mean, the Dodgers, even if they don't win tomorrow, you feel good with the 1-1 going back home for 3 games. But Milwaukee, come on. The Dodgers find a way to win tomorrow. I don't see how Milwaukee wins this series. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but I think this is a must-win for Milwaukee tomorrow because the Dodgers taking a 2-0 lead, going back home for 3 at Dodger Stadium, I think is basically the end of the road for Milwaukee. I just don't think they can overcome that. I mean, look at Toronto, right? Toronto losing their first 2 games at home. And Seattle now has an opportunity to go to the World Series for the first time ever, and has 3 games at home, right? They have 3 games at home with a 2-0 lead. So this is a huge opportunity for Seattle, and the Dodgers could be in the same boat in a couple days or tomorrow night, right? If they win tomorrow night, they'll be doing the same thing. Jim is saying, I had to put the radio on 30 seconds ahead of the broadcast. Yeah, definitely kind of rough watching the TBS broadcast. Gotta agree there with Jim Johnson. Ron Darling doesn't like the Dodgers, that's for sure. I mean, it was funny having Ron Darling basically rooting on the Brewers the whole game. It's rough. I know the playoffs, we don't get our local broadcast. That's just how it is now, and I don't think that's going to change because look at what the NBA is doing. The NBA already got rid of the local broadcast in the first round, something that was traditionally done forever, right? Having that first round being done by the home network, that's gone from the NBA. And Major League Baseball hasn't done that in decades, right? Having a local broadcast in the playoffs. So it's been decades since that has been done, so I don't see that changing. Eventually maybe these games won't be on TBS, they'll be on streaming only, but I'm sure the next contract is not going to include local broadcasts in the playoffs. There's just too much money to be made during this time of year for them to have a local broadcast. Rays saying the lineup should be Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith batting cleanup, then Teoscar, Edman, Muncy, Kike, and Pajes batting 9th. Yeah, I think Andy's got to bat ninth right now. He doesn't look too good at the plate as we saw today, going 0 for 3. It was kind of a rough day, to say the least, for Andy. And some of these guys on the Dodgers are struggling, right? I mean, you could definitely tell there's some guys that are not, hitting the ball very well right now. Mookie had, of course, the big walk, but went 0 for 4 today. There's been definitely some guys that I think are struggling. And Ohtani especially is a glaring one, right? Ohtani still hasn't really gotten going in the playoffs. And the Dodgers are still winning somehow, right? But I just wonder if the Dodgers are going to need Ohtani to contribute more offensively if they're going to want to win a World Series. That's just my opinion. I think we're going to need Ohtani to give a little bit more than he is currently contributing because, it's just the way it's going to go, right? I mean, Ohtani didn't do much in the World Series last year. And the Dodgers still found a way to win because Freddie went crazy. But this year, we'll have to see what happens and who they play. Because looking at the other series, guys, I think Toronto's in big trouble, right? I think the Toronto Blue Jays are in huge trouble. And I don't think it's too early to start talking about Seattle going to the World Series, right? I mean, they won the first 2 games in Toronto, going back home. And Seattle, of course, trying to make history, going to their first World Series. And I hope Seattle makes it. Because if the Dodgers make the World Series, they're going to have home field against the Mariners, right? We won't have home field against the Blue Jays, but the Dodgers will have home field against the Mariners, right? So that's something to keep an eye on. The Dodgers having home field in the World Series is super important. And as we know, with the records being the deciding factor, the Dodgers would get the upper hand. But going back to tonight's game, Blake Snell, what a historic performance. Definitely is the MVP for the Dodgers tonight. The Dodgers paid so much money to get him in the offseason. So much criticism thrown at him early on in the year with all the injuries. Criticism thrown at him last year, too, with the Giants, right? Missing the first half of the year. And now, kind of the same thing happened this year with the Dodgers. Missed months during the regular season. And then he has come back and been another player in the second half. So that's exactly kind of repeating what happened last year. The only difference is the Dodgers are a playoff team and the Giants were nowhere near the playoffs. So that is a big difference with Blake Snell's performance this year and the comeback he has had. The Dodgers have a playoff run for him to continue his great pitching. And, I just wish the Dodgers gave him a little bit more run support, right? I mean, today it was like a very little run support. But, I mean, the Brewers pitched well, right? They had the opener. They did try to have that opener. They're looking at the name. Ashby was the opener, and then Prester came in and threw 4 innings. I mean, it's really hard to remember the Brewers guys because, I mean, most of these players we have never heard of. They're basically a AAA baseball team outside of Christian Yelich and maybe William Contreras, who we know of, and Jackson Trio. But outside of that, there's like no other guys that we really know here on the Brewers, especially those pitchers. Some of these guys are don't have a lot of experience. I think that's what I'm saying when I kind of said at the beginning of the video, I think this is kind of a reality check for the Brewers because I don't know if they really have any business being in the NLCS playing the Dodgers, right? I mean, I just don't know if they really belong in the same category as the Dodgers, right? I mean, I think they didn't really seem like they belong tonight, right? Only having 1 hit through 8 innings, didn't get a runner to second. Just not very much going on for the Brewers. Sure, the 9th inning came on, and they had their little rally, but then they found a way not to score, right? I mean, so it's like it didn't really matter. The little rally that the Brewers put together with 2 outs, it didn't help because they couldn't close the job, right? I mean, that's the thing. They couldn't close it out and get the runs that they needed to beat the Dodgers. So I don't know if the Brewers really have it. I'm not really sure. The Dodgers, I think, are heavily favored. This is a big win for the Dodgers, and I think they were favored before the series started, and now you really have to favor the Dodgers to win this. I think this is a big setback for the Brewers, losing Game 1 at home. I think it's more important that maybe some people are going to want to, the narrative's going to be it's still a 7-game series and all that kind of stuff, but I think it's just a really bad loss for Milwaukee, especially because the Dodgers only put up 2 runs. It didn't really have it offensively, like some fans are talking about. They couldn't hit with runners in scoring position, leaving the game grinding into the double play, right? Where Teoscar got out at home, and also Mookie Betts grinding into a double play. That was huge as well with the bases loaded. Or what was it? It was first and second. Yeah, first and second grinding to that double play. That was also very important. So, yeah, I mean, the Dodgers really struggled today with runners in scoring position. So, despite all that, the Dodgers still won. So, I think the Brewers have to kind of think about it's kind of a reality check, right? I mean, the Dodgers didn't play their best, and they still won. And this might be the best the Brewers can do. I mean, the 9th inning, it took a lot out of them to put that rally together. And it might be this is the best for them, right? I think this is kind of the best that they could put together. And that's the thing. I don't know if it's enough to beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers clearly have a better roster, top to bottom. Just look at the names the Dodgers have, right? And Milwaukee just doesn't have that. When the Dodgers lost those 6 games to Milwaukee, the pitching for the Dodgers was really bad, right? I mean, they had all those injuries, and it was another Dodger team. Now the Dodgers are at full strength when it comes to their starting pitching, and I think it's totally different, right? It's a completely different story for the Dodgers now. So that's my take, but we'll see what happens in the next couple days. Lions saying Ohtani needs to hit tomorrow. Yeah, I would like to see Ohtani, hit tomorrow, maybe get a home run, get on base. We haven't seen Ohtani really on base too much in the playoffs, which has been a little strange, right? because Ohtani's always on base. We saw him, of course, on base getting on with intentional walks today, but I mean, not getting on base with, him getting hits and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what's been a little bit strange for sure, watching the Dodgers in the last, during this playoff run. But Ohtani, yeah, I think he's struggling. And I don't know. Tomorrow, it's all about Milwaukee. I think the Dodgers are happy, splitting the first two on the road. Even if Milwaukee finds a way to get to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's going to be pitching tomorrow. Let's say he has a rough start, or we blow the game in the ninth inning or something like that. I think the Dodgers are going to bounce back, right? I don't think it's an issue because they won the first game, and I think the goal is to split the first two and then go back home, right? For 3. So it's not the end of the world if the Dodgers lose tomorrow. If they win, it's great, right? They're playing with house money, and the Brewers are basically done. They're basically done if the Dodgers win tomorrow. This might be a 4-game sweep if the Dodgers find a way to win tomorrow, or at least they'll be done in 5. I don't think we'll be coming back to Milwaukee if the Dodgers find a way to win tomorrow, because basically the Dodgers will be able to go home for 3 and win 2 out of 3 and go to the World Series. So that's that. I think the Dodgers winning 2 out of 3 at home is a likely scenario. So the Milwaukee knows they really got to try to win tomorrow, right? They have to try to win to stay alive. I think they have to win to stay alive. That's my opinion. I think the Dodgers win tomorrow. They're going to the World Series and probably soon. I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but I think the Dodgers won't blow a 2-0 lead going back home. It's not impossible, but I just think this Milwaukee team, I don't know if they're really capable of that sort of a comeback. Just the way this team is constructed, they just don't have a lot, right? You could definitely see it tonight. They didn't really have enough, I think, when playing the Dodgers. Lions saying, when's the last time Yamamoto had a bad back-to-back game? I think Dodgers will win. Yeah, Lion, I agree with you. I think the Dodgers are favored again to win tomorrow. Yamamoto, like you're saying, has not had back-to-back games where he's pitched bad, so probably going to have a good performance tomorrow. And the Brewers just don't have a lot offensively, right? I just don't think they have a lot offensively. Sure, they did very well in the first 2 games against the Cubs and put up a lot of runs, but since then, the Brewers haven't really scored much. I mean, they only scored 3 runs in their Game 5 win against the Cubs, so they really offensively have struggled the last 3 games. They have not scored more than 3 runs in the last 3 games, so they have really struggled offensively, and tonight, once again, only getting 1 run. So the Milwaukee Brewers can't seem to score enough runs, I think, to keep up with the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are probably going to score more than 2 runs in these games, right? I mean, today they only had 2, but tomorrow they'll put up 4 or 5. And can the Brewers score 6 runs? Probably not. So, Dodgers favored, I think, to win tomorrow and probably put away the series soon, right? I think that's a very likely scenario. Dodgers getting a win tomorrow and, coming back home and playing Thursday and going for the 3-0 lead and maybe the 4-game sweep, right? I think today really set them on the right path to close this out early and, get some rest before the World Series. That doesn't kick off. It's not going to be moved up early, right? They changed the rule on that. So the World Series will not start until Friday, October 24th. So still a long way to go. The Dodgers wrap this up on Friday or Saturday. They'll have a whole week off before the World Series, which I think would be huge because they don't have a bullpen, right? And Sasaki's got to rest up and be at 100% come World Series time. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight for the post game, the Dodgers Digest post game. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe if you're seeing this for the first time. And tomorrow, Game 2, huge game. Brad will be talking all about it tomorrow night. And as always, let's go Dodgers. Woo!